Okay, we'll get started. So we're here for the Vernon Avenue High 100 Interchange Project. This is update meeting number 10, August 7th, 2025. Again, thanks for the patience. Businesses, again, a reminder, they're open and accessible. There's routes to get to them. We have all the construction-related stuff, noise, dust, vibrations. Please stop for those pedestrians in the crosswalks. Be courteous to fellow drivers in the roundabouts. Traffic is heavy, so please take your time. And again, if you're not comfortable using that mid-block crossing in Eden, we would recommend using the crosswalk at Vernon and Eden instead, with the fully signaled intersection there with the crosswalk. Again, we always share the project goals. We're here to improve safety and mobility of all users, improve traffic operations, create those separated pedestrian routes, and improve connectivity in the area. We'll talk a little bit about schedule here as we go through the presentation today. And this is the project. Starts west of Interlochen Boulevard. We have the Vernon Avenue Bridge over CP Casey Rail. And then we have the bridge over High 100. So this is the project. And the interchange at 100 is called a tight diamond interchange. Lots of ways to communicate. We have this bi-weekly meeting every other week, 11 a.m. Thursdays. We have a Better Together Edina website, bettertogetheredina.org/Vernon-HWY100. We also been doing press releases, Friday reports, email updates. People were signing up for those when the project started, direct mailers, lots and lots of different ways to communicate with both people in the area, traveling in the area, businesses, and a lot of information posted to the website. So if you're looking for more info, check out the website. If you haven't signed up for emails, do that also. So some specific details of where the project is at this point. So if we start at the Vernon Interlochen intersection, that is and continues to be free flowing. There's no signal there today. Gus Young is still closed by Edina Liquor Store. Most of the work is complete, will be complete this week, next week. Then they'll be shifting traffic back to the west, closer to that Caribou corner, kind of what I have drawn here. And it'll continue to be free flowing there as long as they need it to complete the rest of the work to the east of this intersection. So look for some slight changes there as they can wrap up this work in the next week or so. The power line, we've talked about this for at least 6 weeks, I believe. So the Excel power line is horizontally and vertically different in the field than what we thought. It was shown on the plans. It was struck and repaired. There's no agreements. Both parties are working on permits and agreements. There has been no construction movement on this. So what you see in the picture is still today. That concrete is from the old bridge. I'm having major concerns. Major impacts to schedule and cost are coming. And we don't even know what that is yet until we can actually get Excel and CP to get a permit to move this stuff around. So I'm very concerned on how this is going to impact the entire project, because this has been 3 months and it's still sitting in the same spot. And neither agency was willing to do any kind of temporary moves and stuff like that. So more to come on this when we actually know when the permits will be done, when the contractor could potentially assist with some of the work. Once we know that, then we can actually contractor could put together some schedules and some potential cost implications to the project. Last week, on Monday, July 28th, the northbound on-ramp from 50th Street was closed. It's closed until the fall, so they can build the ramp, realignment of the ramps, and the noise wall from Minnehaha Creek up to 50th. And again, there's GIS mapping. There's a link there that shows the different mapping for the detours. One is along Highway 100. You would exit on eastbound 62 and then stay and exit right away again to northbound 100. The other detour is the local frontage roads on each side of 100 down to Benton Avenue. So we know Benton Avenue, shown here, is experiencing more traffic. There's more delays at that location. We have been working with MnDOT. They did retime the on-ramp signals for that northbound exit. We'll continue to look at that and work with MnDOT. But just know that Benton Avenue has had a big increase in traffic, and it's going to get worse. School starts August 25th. So we got Edina schools right at this location, and we have OLG on Eden and Arcadia area. So in a couple of weeks, we're going to have all the school traffic back at both these locations. What's coming up? At some point, we need to do the Stage 3A Part 2, which is the westbound ramps, or the southbound off ramps. Sometime in September. We don't have a hard date yet. Sometimes in September, that is going to close. And then we also need to do Stage 3B, which is the northbound exit to Grange. They have to build that ramp there too. So that one will need to change. So we have 2 ramp closures still to conduct. Sometime in September, when we know those dates, we'll be sharing those out. So Benton Avenue will get worse with those closures also. So it is going to get worse before it gets better from a traffic standpoint within this area. Some cool things. The bridge is going to start to really take shape for the first week of September. If everything goes according to schedule, the girders are going to show up overnights. 2 nights for northbound, 2 nights for southbound, placing those girders over the highway. So that's really going to start to take shape. That Highway 100 bridge is moving forward very nicely. Another thing that's going to start to impact stuff is the 5100 Eden Avenue. It was a development project approved by the city council. They are going to start work, some temporary work starting August 18th. So as shown in this graphic, they're going to build a temporary sidewalk along the west side of Arcadia Avenue from just north of the roundabout at Arcadia and Eden up to the crosswalk near the Vernon Shops. So during this work, the parking will be removed along the west side, and they'll have flaggers out there. And once that work is complete, the parking will be reestablished. Also during that week, they'll install jersey barriers and fencing around their property as they get ready to start doing demo and grading operations for their project. And then that blue dashed line is the sidewalk detour. So there'll be signs placed over at the roundabout at Grange to use that crosswalk and use the south sidewalk along Eden Avenue around the Eden Arcadia roundabout, and then use this new west temporary sidewalk up the west side of Arcadia, where there is no sidewalk today, so they're building that. And they need to close the sidewalk adjacent to that parcel on both Eden and Arcadia so they can safely work on that parcel. And then some pictures. We always go through some pictures and provide some updates. This picture is, again, looking at the Bonnies on the right-hand side from various weeks of construction, and the one on the right is what it looks like today. So that bridge foundation and bridge support is coming along very, very nicely there on the east side of the CP case of rail for the Vernon Bridge. This is the intersection. The one on the left was from 2 weeks ago where they were still doing utility work. Photo on the right is what it looks like today. So they have curb and gutter in, they're pouring sidewalks. You can see the signal base is in, and then they'll be paving next week and then shifting this traffic back over to that side in that intersection like I discussed earlier. The area in front of the Edina liquor store is complete. So this is a picture of that. And we got the bike racks installed in this photo on the left. And then on the right is a photo looking west. That's Washburn, McCreevy, Funeral Chapel in the background. And this is the east side of the Highway 100 bridge. So just seeing some of the work taking shape there on the east side of Highway 100. This is near Hawthorne Court, Hawthorne Apartments. The one on the left was a photo from a couple weeks ago, and the one on the right is from this morning as they continue to pour that retaining wall before the noise wall gets installed on top of that retaining wall. This is looking east towards City Hall. You can see the Grange traffic signals in the background. Photo on the upper left was from 4 weeks ago. Bottom left was from 2 weeks ago, and the bigger photo on the right is from this morning, showing all the bridge supports, foundation work that's happened as they get ready for those girders here in a few weeks, the first early September. And a couple zoomed in more, give you some scale of the bridge and the work these guys are doing. So both left and right are both on the Highway 100 bridge. I think they're both on the west side of Highway 100, but just giving you an idea of the work they're doing, the scale there. These again are renderings of the finished bridge at 100. Left photo is showing those wide sidewalks, new traffic signals, the new turn lanes. The one on the right is the rendering of the bridge from Highway 100 heading northbound. And you're seeing all those supports are nearly complete. And those girders will be coming in just a few weeks as this thing really starts to take shape. So we do this meeting every 2 weeks. In 2 weeks, Derek Houston, our rep with TKDA, is going to be hosting this meeting and sharing additional information as I will be out at the office. So for Derek to host the next meeting here in 2 weeks. So I'll stop sharing and see if there's any questions in the chat. Any questions? For people to type in questions. Diana staff, would unmute and ask questions if you have it. Question 1, will there be new trees planted? And if so, where and what kind? Most likely not. We took a few trees down that were volunteer trees. Most of the bridges are wider than they were before, so we needed that space for either the bridge structures or the sidewalks. So there's really not a lot of space left for trees, other than some promises we made to Hawthorne Apartments there on their property behind the new noise wall. So in that area, there will be some trees. We'll look if there's other space, but right now it doesn't look like there'll be too many new trees just because we needed the space for these new facilities. Will mulch sod borders be replaced by my road sign? And Ryan, the holiday manager. We can meet with you and talk through restoration of your property as part of this project. So typically we want to put stuff back the way it was before we got there. So we can definitely work with you. We'll have Derek reach out and can have a conversation. Brian had a question. Any more commentary to offer about why Rail and Excel don't seem to care about time, cost, or inconvenience? I have a lot of commentary, but I don't think it's appropriate for this meeting. on the lack of urgency by both parties. The why, a great question. I have no idea why. We've communicated with them multiple times for 3 months, every week. What are we doing? This is a major issue. Stuff like that. Mr. Crabtree, doesn't the 1968 agreement cover? It covers an aerial line, not a buried line, is what we got confirmation from those parties. So buried line got hit. It technically wasn't covered in any agreements between the parties. And again, that's between them. There a question regarding the east side of the new Vernon Avenue Bridge, adjacent to the Devani's. Will there be an open gap between the new bridge structure and the Devani's building, or will that space be filled with new concrete and or landscaping? Very detailed question, Darren. I think we would check in with you offline and we can show you some plans and the graphics of what that would look like there. Derek could be more than happy to have a conversation and help answer that question. Mr. Crabtree again, who's responsible for any cost overruns? The city, the county, the MnDOT? Great question. We don't know yet. I would add additional parties to that list, Excel and the railroad, but what's our ability to get those from them? That's a good question. So there's cooperative agreements that lay out cost responsibilities for the Hennepin County Bridge, the Highway 100 Bridge, and everything in between. So typically if items overrun those cost share agreements, cooperative agreements would dictate where those additional costs go. I feel like this bridge side is a different conversation that potentially attorneys need to get involved in that discussion. I live near Hawthorne Court, near the at-grade crossing going through West 49th Street. It appears the recent concrete patching job on the street. Top of the tracks are too high. It seems like every time the train comes, these massive scrapes against the ground. You could take a look at what you're talking about. So it sounds like the crossing at 49th Street, the bituminous was recently repaired. We can take a look. Will there be any tree clearing done around 5100 building and the bridge that connects to the other side? Good question. Pull up a map here and look at that site. Nothing is being done to the Eden Avenue Bridge. I don't think they have any trees on their site. There's a few trees and landscaping above that big retaining wall. There's a few trees along Eden by their east driveway. Those would get removed, but then the other trees are mostly in MnDOT right away. So that's a question for the developer and whether they worked out any agreements with MnDOT on those trees that are outside their property line in the MnDOT right away on the east or the north side of this parcel. At a previous update, you mentioned that CPKC was paid to expedite a decision on the line. Who paid to expedite the decision and how was it paid? It's a project expense, so it's split between all the parties and paid as such. Great questions. Great questions. What will replace the 5100 Eden building? It's going to be a corporate headquarters, so commercial building for Opus, the Opus Development Company, and then have a little retail space on the first floor. So those can be found. Those were in council packets earlier this year if you're interested in seeing all those renderings of the project that was approved by the city council. Good questions. I didn't answer, so Justin, on that decision to expedite, that was a $2,000 fee, if you want to know. We felt like that was justified for a $20 million project to try to keep it on schedule as best we could, because we felt like that could be the hang up of this. In my opinion, it's been more Excel has been the hang up on this matter. And Bill just put a link in from bettertogetherediana.org, the Opus 5100 Eden development. So there's a link if you're interested in looking at that development project. Thanks, Bill, for doing that. Other questions? So I think there's a lot of unknowns. Unknown schedule on the ramp closures coming up. Unknowns on when two parties are going to figure out the power line. So then that creates an unknown on just the overall project schedule and potential costs. When we know more, we'll be sharing more specifics out on these meetings, on the website, and all those other communication channels that we discussed earlier. Darren, where can I reach out to you about a question space? Go to the bettertogetherediana.org website, find the project page, and Derek and I's phone number and emails are on there. So then you can just ping us that way, share your info, and we can reach out and meet you. Probably the best is meet you out at Devani's and review the area you're concerned about. Derek's out there every day for the most part and can meet with you to have those discussions. So check out the website for emails and phone numbers. Anything else? Great questions. We will post the slides, we'll post this recording to the website as soon as we can. So if you know of others that want to see or hear this information, send them there. If you got specific questions, just reach out to me or Derek. Be appreciated. A reminder, in 2 weeks, Derek will be presenting information on where we're at. So thanks, everybody. I appreciate your time and interest.